If they're openly admitting that they have recovered non-human bodies, biologicals they call them, from UFOs, what do they have planned next? Michael Snyder reports. I definitely understand that this is a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about. If they really are non-human creatures, if there are these non-human creatures flying around the skies above us, that is a really big deal. What are their intentions? Are they hostile? Most people have enough problems without having to consider such things. For a long time, the U.S. government worked exceedingly hard to suppress legitimate information about the UFO phenomenon, but now there has been a dramatic reversal. All sorts of extremely shocking things are being revealed to the public during congressional hearings, and that is something that never would have been allowed, of course, in the old days. So why is this happening? Are they trying to prepare us for something? And as I write this, he says, highly anticipated testimony from former intelligence official David Grush continues to make headlines all over the globe. He had previously given interviews to a couple of news outlets, but when he testified in front of Congress, he was under oath. So if he did not tell the truth, he could potentially, of course, go to prison. During his testimony, Grush dropped bombshell after bombshell. He testified that the U.S. government possesses multiple alien craft and that remains of their crew that government contractors have misappropriated, quote-unquote, money to fund these ongoing programs, and that there have been efforts to silence those who come forward that may have even included offing them. In addition, Grush said the U.S. was working to reverse engineer alien technology and that people were hurt in the process of attempting to do so. He said he had a list of witnesses, both cooperative and hostile, for future hearings that could provide additional answers through first-hand accounts. Wow. Hopefully, we will get a chance to hear from that list of witnesses, because the American people, of course, deserve the truth. To many, the most interesting portion of Grush's testimony came under an exchange with U.S. Representative Nancy Mace. Mace says, okay, you say that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with with intelligent extraterrestrials? And Grush says something I can't discuss in a public setting. May says, okay, and I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, as stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft? Grush says, as I've stated publicly already in my News Nations interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yes, he said. Mace asked, were they, I guess, human or non-human biologicals? Grush says non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge of the program. I talked to that are currently still in the program, he said. Mace asked, and was this documented evidence as video, photos, eyewitnesses? How would that be determined? Grush says, the specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about. And Mace says, gotcha, okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff to the next. So Grush is claiming that the U.S. government is currently in possession of non-human spacecraft that have been recovered. He also says that non-human biologics were discovered with at least some of these crafts. And if that is really true, members of Congress need to follow up on this really hard. In fact, if I was a member of Congress, I would be absolutely furious that the intelligence community has been keeping this a secret from lawmakers for so long. On the same day, a couple of fighter pilots also testified to Congress about their experiences with very strange UFOs while in the air. One House Oversight Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs heard additional witness testimony Wednesday from former U.S. Navy fighter pilots Ryan Graves and retired Commander David Fravor, who both claimed they had encountered aircraft of a non-human origin. They said these sightings are not rare or isolated. This is what Graves said, who served in the Navy for over a decade. Military air crews and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena, he said. Graves told lawmakers that his aircrew encountered UAP during a training exercise off the coast of Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's, of course, on the east coast of the United States, when their lead jet came within 50 feet of what he described as a dark gray or black cube inside of a clear sphere. He estimated it to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter, motionless against the wind, fixed directly at the entry point. The mission was immediately terminated, and his squadron submitted a safety report that he claims received no official acknowledgement of the incident. If U.S. military pilots really are frequently witnessing UFOs during missions, we have a right to know. But even though all of this has been revealed under oath in front of Congress, most Americans don't seem very moved. One commentator has suggested that this is because the mainstream media has not told them what to think about all of this yet. The reason the alien news is not sticking or taking off for the most people is that there is no meta-narrative provided. The people in charge are not telling them what to think about it. They don't have their own meta-narrative about this topic, so it's just bizarrely useless information. I think this is such a great point. Time after time, the general public does not have a strong opinion about a particular issue until the mainstream media tells them what that opinion should be. Isn't that sad? Eventually, the mainstream media will develop a narrative about these new UFO revelations, and millions upon millions of Americans will eagerly adopt the narrative. But will it be the truth? And as I've repeatedly warned my readers, I believe that the stage is being set for a grand deception. So much is being assumed about who these non-human creatures are and where they're from. And I believe that most of this is a bunch of nonsense. For years we've been waiting for our government officials to tell us the truth, and now they're revealing a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm entirely convinced that the limited amount of truth that they are allowing to reach the general public is simply setting the stage for even greater lies. And this is by Michael Snyder. It says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies, The Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, Commissions Earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of the latest updates. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, the most important news, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. And this is on End of the American Dream by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.